Hey guys, it's Comic Hollywood Studios here, and today we're going to be counting down Six Flags Great Adventures roller coasters from worst to best. Before we get into the video, if you guys could please hit subscribe if you enjoy our videos, that'd be greatly appreciated. We're nearing 1,500 subs, and if we could hit that by the end of the week, that'd be awesome. Anyways, let's get right into the video. Before we get into the top 10, I'd like to highlight the 4 coasters that did not make the top 10. And yes, I said 4. There are 14 coasters at Great Adventure, and that's because number 14 will be the Kiddie Coaster, which is Little Devil. So, it's not confirmed that this ride will be called Little Devil. It was originally called Roadrunner Railway before it was removed for Jersey Devil's construction, but it's exactly what you'd expect. It's a kiddie coaster. It's a Zamperla family gravity coaster, so it's nothing crazy. It's definitely not going to beat any of the coasters above, so I just thought I'd throw it in here because it is a coaster at the park. At number 13, we have Harley Quinn Crazy Coaster. This is a Zero family coaster, perhaps most well known for its extremely long trains. It's kind of hilarious how long of trains it has. The back car almost goes out the station and up the little dip that comes down into the station. But it's a really fun ride, good for families, very fun to go on when you just want to walk around, chill. It's a fun ride, nothing crazy, nothing too intense, a good ride for families. Number 12, we have Dark Knight, which is the indoor Wild Mouse, themed to the Dark Knight movie, which just so happens to be my favorite movie of all time. But this is a really good Wild Mouse. It's very smooth for the most part, has some cool theming. The pre-show is fantastic. If you go on this ride, hopefully the pre-show is running for you because the pre-show is just great. And overall, the ride's a really good, immersive experience. At number 11, we have Skull Mountain, which is the park's indoor family coaster. Just like Dark Knight, this ride is fully indoors, but has a totally different theme and is a totally different kind of ride. This ride has longer trains and is a little longer in track length than Dark Knight is, or at least it feels like it is. Skull Mountain is a very unique coaster, as you don't see many coasters like this. It has a crazy drop in the back row where you get some really nice flagector airtime, and overall it's a really fun family coaster with some cool theming. Now, getting into the top 10, we have Runaway Mine Train at number 10. This is the park's original coaster. It opened with the park all the way back in 1974, and it's a classic. This ride never gets old. It's so much fun, and sure, it can be a little extreme for little riders, but I really like this ride, especially for the ejector death hill at the end of the ride. It's really good. Number 9, we have Superman Ultimate Flight. Now, if you guys know me, you'd know I'm not a big fan of this ride. I just find it kind of boring, how you just kind of meander around after that pretzel loop. But the flying coaster aspect of this ride is really cool, how you're sitting like that on your chest. And like I said, the pretzel loop is fantastic. It's just for me, after the pretzel loop, the ride's kind of over and just turns around, doesn't really do much. The inline twist before the brake run is really cool though. But other than that, it's a really good GP magnet to get people away from the really good ride since it's right at the parking lot, and it looks great on the parking lot, so I'll give it that. But moving on, we have Joker at number 8. Now, Joker's a ride that you can have varying experiences on. You can have a ride on it where you'll think it's one of the best coasters in the park, and you'll have a ride on it where you think it sucks and you don't think it's that good. And that's because it's randomized flipping, so there's not a set ride that you get. It all depends on weight distribution, the fins, a lot of factors. But when you get a good ride on this ride, this thing is so much fun. It can be a really good ride. You can get stuck upside down in one of those valleys and get what some people call upside down airtime, which is super intense. Or you can just flip like crazy, which is also very fun. However, there are always some duds where you just kind of rock around and don't flip, which is fine if you're just trying to chillax. But most people are looking for a more intense experience when they go on Joker, so those rides are kind of duds. But the rides that are great are really fun. At number 7, we have Green Lantern, which is the park's B&M stand-up coaster. This coaster was actually originally located in Kentucky at Kentucky Kingdom when it was a Six Flags park known as Chang, but it was moved over here to Jersey, and they kept the yellow loop from Chang, which they actually cleverly themed to Parallax, which is really cool on their part. But Green Lantern is a very polarizing coaster because of the fact that it's a stand-up coaster. A lot of people don't like how rough it can tend to be, how bad it can be on your legs. A lot of people just don't like that aspect of the ride. But I can look past that when you're riding towards the front of the train and see that it's a ridiculously intense and long looping coaster. It's a really good layout. The stand-up aspect definitely does take away a little bit from it. However, it's still a really good ride and is very different than any other ride at the park for the fact that you're standing up. Don't miss out on Green Lantern, but if you ride it, try to get the front row. At number 6, we have Batman the Ride, which is one of the older coasters still left at the park. Other than Runaway Train, this is the oldest coaster at the park, if I'm not mistaken. This ride is really intense with its 2 loops, 0G roll, and corkscrews, and the fact that it's an inverted coaster, so your legs are dangling below the track, and it's a really great experience. Very intense ride, very cool theme to Batman, which is, in my opinion, the best DC superhero. And yeah, Batman is just a great ride, and it still runs pretty smooth considering it's over 20 years old. At number 5, we have Bizarro, which is the park's B&M floorless coaster. This ride is most well known for the fact that the floor disappears below you, and you're just looking straight down at the track as you ride, which is really cool. Other than that though, this ride is a really good looping coaster with a great layout, and of course the fire effect on the dive loop is super cool. There are some really cool special effects during the ride, including that, and the bar that goes in between the corkscrews that sprays mist. That's also really cool. But Bizarro was a great looping coaster. I know a lot of people I know like it. Even if they're not coaster enthusiasts, they appreciate Bizarro for being a really fun ride. It's not too intense to handle, but it's not too mild for extreme thrill seekers. It's all in all a really well-rounded, great ride. Moving on to number 4, we have some of the best coasters in the park. This top 4, I don't care what anyone says, is one of the best top 4s out of any park. At number 4, we have Kingda Ka, which is the park's Strata coaster. This is still the world's tallest roller coaster over 15 years later, which still surprises me. I'm surprised there has not been a taller coaster built, but Kingda Ka is absolutely massive. 456 feet is no joke. And of course that launch to 128 miles an hour, that is the fastest coaster in America. And you feel it. It is a really powerful launch. And it's a very intense ride too. A lot of people forget to point this out. When you're going up into that top hat, which is the tallest element of the ride, you tend to gray out, especially if you're one of the other seats than the front. But that's where we get into this ride's flaw. When you don't ride in the front row, it can be a bit of a rough ride. I will say this year it has not been nearly as rough as it usually is. It's actually very tolerable. But if you can get the front row for that crazy wind in your face feeling. This is the fastest coaster you can experience without having to wear goggles. So you really feel the wind rushing into your face. It's a very insane experience, and now that Zumanjaro, which is the drop tower on Kingda Ka, can run in sync with Kingda Ka, it adds an even bigger level of immersion to the ride that just makes it so cool. It's a really just awesome ride. At number 3, we have Nitro, which is the park's B&M Hypercoaster. This is another really good ride. It's definitely kind of a polar opposite of Kingda Ka, where Kingda Ka is short but super intense, whereas Nitro is a little more mild, but it's a very long ride. It has some really fun floater airtime, and it's just overall a really fun ride. It's a very popular ride with the general public, and I like it too. When you're riding it on a fast, hot day, it is just great, especially if you get back row. That drop is awesome, and there's a lot of really good floater airtime moments. I also love the setting, how you go out into the woods like that. Not many coasters at the park do that, but Nitro is one of them, and it is executed really well. A night ride on Nitro is always so much fun because you're just flying past trees and you can't see where you're going. It's such a great ride, and I see why so many people like it. Now we're getting into the top 2, and these 2 coasters are very elite rides. I don't care what anyone says. These 2 rides, in my opinion, shape Great Adventure and make it so good. These 2 rides alone, they're that good. So at number 2, we have their newest coaster, Jersey Devil. Jersey Devil, I think I've talked about it enough on this channel. I love Jersey Devil. I've ridden it over 70 times now, and it's only been open for about a month. And this ride just never gets old. It gets better the more you ride it. A back row ride on it is insane. You get flung over the drop, and it's just such a great ride. Any seat you ride in, it's a very rideable ride, smooth, intense, very fun ride. I can't really think of many flaws with this ride. It's just all around a great addition to the park, and definitely a solid number 2 at the park. However, Jersey Devil cannot dethrone the park's number 1, the bull El Toro. El Toro is just an insane ride. It is definitely the most intense coaster at Great Adventure, with its super high positive G-forces that throw you right up into crazy strong airtime moments. These are some of the strongest, if not the strongest, airtime moments on any coaster in the world. This ride is absolutely nuts and is very smooth for a wooden coaster. I hear a lot of people complain about it being rough, but I have to ask myself, have you been on any other wooden coaster that's not El Toro? El Toro is so much smoother than other wooden coasters, it's insane. This ride has a great finale too, where you pop up over the old Rolling Thunder track and get thrown out of your seat and then go into some rapid fire turns. It is just an insane ride that everyone needs to experience and is definitely the best coaster at Six Flags Great Adventure. But that will wrap up this video ranking Six Flags Great Adventure's coasters. If you agree or disagree, feel free to let me know in the comment section. Of course, like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and I will see you guys next time.